back on the air. We're getting somebody who's becoming a familiar face around here. Caral J from the Caral J Podcast back with us. Caral, what's up? It's good to see you.
And it's good to be here. It's been a long time coming. You know, I take breaks sometimes. I need to stop doing it, you know?
Yeah, yes, whatever we got to do to get you in front of the camera and on the microphone, we got to do. All right. So today we got Jamar Hebert. He's an author, philanthropist, and a motivational speaker. So we got him here talking about his book, The Only Black Man in the Room. So how you feel about talking to Jamar?
Man, I can't wait. He's so multifaceted. Like, I'm just ready to pick his brain.
Well,
see if he
can waste any time. Let's bring him on in. Let's talk about it.
Let's get it.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
If you post something on Facebook and you talking like paragraphs of shit about somebody, tag them.
You're listening to The Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, we got another episode of The Radio Show ATL, the Aftermath, on the air, and we got Jamar Hebert here. I mean, so many different hats that he wears: philanthropist, author. I'm just so glad that, you know, he was able to make time to come on. So Jamar, appreciate you coming on the show.
Hey, it's a pleasure. I want to thank you guys for the invite. Heard so many wonderful things about the show, so really looking forward to participating.
Absolutely. So we can start at the top as far as like about your ambition. So we were chatting a little bit before we start recording, but I could say, knowing you from a young age, because we do go back many years, you always seem so driven. So what would you attribute to giving the drive to be the standout person from being, you know, a father to your education and now your business endeavor?
You know, I would really contribute it to having mentors and seeing individuals in my life that really inspired me. And, you know, I think from having that, I felt like I had no other choice. You know, the bar was set high, you know, particularly with having an older brother, for example, who's now an attorney. You know, he was really like a father figure to me. So I always saw myself following in his footsteps and really wanting to do more, and, you know, having that something inside of me that just kept pushing me to, you know, to be a driven person. I think that, and just having a wonderful mom in my life who didn't make excuses, and regardless of what she was experiencing in her own personal life, she always set the bar high for us and really supported us, you know, never told us, well, you know, that's not the right path for you and that type of thing. She just really encouraged and supported us in whatever we wanted to do in life.
That's good. That's real good. That explains a lot about how that started at a young age for you, where it was just sort of ingrained in you. And with that, sort of switching gears into your book, The Only Black Man in the Room, can you sort of talk about the significance of the title? And even though you had spoken in the book about the start of the pandemic, you know, it gave you time isolated away from people. That plus the civil unrest, was that enough to go ahead and push you to go ahead and tell this story?
Absolutely. So The Only Black Man in the Room, I actually have the book here.
He's you know, nice product placement.
Right. You know, it was it really took courage to write a book like this. You know, I work with majority Caucasian or white people, you know. So, you know, I often find myself as the only black man in the room, but, you know, I always had at the top of mind, well, what are these folks going to think, you know, with me writing a book like this? I work with majority white people, but I didn't want it to be a negative thing. I wanted it to be an educational thing. But, you know, I just kept getting these not clues, but visions or you know, I think God just kept putting on my mind and my heart that I needed to get this book out. I would see articles, or I would I'll never forget one night watching CNN, and Don Lemon and Como were having an exchange, and they even started talking about being the only black person in the room. So, you know, all of these clues or all of these visions that came, then I was like, well, man, I need to find time to write the book. So bam, the pandemic hit, nothing but time, you know, everyone at home. And then, you know, with the civil unrest and all of these other things that were taking place, I was like, I need to get this book out. It's just a timely a timely thing and important, and it's something that so many people can resonate with, being the only Black person in the room. And how does that feel? How do you navigate that experience? So I just knew it was the right thing to do and a timely thing to do as well.
Nice. Yeah, I appreciate your elaboration on that. So just to reiterate, so we're talking to Jamar Hebert, right? So Jamar is the author of The Only Black Man in the Room. So that's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, or wherever you purchase books. You can follow him on Instagram at Jamar_Hebert. And for more information, you can go to JamarHebert.com. Caral J, do you have something for Mr. Jamar Hebert?
Yeah. So Mr. Jamar, I definitely want to get your book and start a, book club reading at this point, because you're talking about something we really don't talk about. How does it, honestly, how does it truly feel being the only Black man in the room sometimes?
I think it depends on the audience, but for me personally, I try to own that experience. I try to be my authentic self and bring who I am to the table. And I think that helps to guide me. At times it can feel a little weird, but for the most part, for me personally, I just be myself. But I know that everyone doesn't have that experience, and it hasn't always been like that for me either. I was once a younger man, right? And didn't really know what to say or how these folks would receive me. But I think personally, being myself has truly helped. And I will say, for the most part, I have not had very many negative experiences being the only Black person in the room. But again, I know that is not everyone's story. For example, I talk about in the book how my mom, who attended a all-white Catholic school and helped to integrate that school back in the 60s, the height of the civil rights movement, right? So she found herself being the only Black woman girl, should I say, in the room. And she had quite a different experience from I had, in the 90s, for example. She had to deal with being called the N-word and even having adults, teachers speak negatively upon her. So I can only imagine how that felt, to a child, a Black child. So, but for me personally, I think owning that experience and turning a negative to a positive by being my authentic self and navigating that way, I think has truly helped.
Yes, sir. And see, you're giving me some advice, if you don't know. Just being that Black woman in the corporate world as well. And it's hard to try to stick out, and people are very clicked up, and I just didn't think we would have to worry about that in it's 2022.
Right.
But it's still like that. But no, thank you for that.
Oh, no problem at all. And I often think back to when I first started traveling, heavy travel in my current role at a Fortune 500 company. I had really an epiphany when I started traveling across the country. I was like, wow, we truly are the minority. I would be sometimes the only Black person on a plane or the only Black person in a coffee shop, whereas, in our communities, we don't find that. But when you get out of your communities, you really, really see it. So you have to, you have to know how to navigate that. But my best advice is to be yourself. Be yourself, because people pick up on when you're not being authentic, and that may make them feel uncomfortable, right? So always be yourself.
Perfect.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Yeah, so let me just go ahead and just put this out there and own it. I am one of those parents. I have been guilty of dropping mine off one day with a very questionable temperature, and by the time I got to my office, they was like, quit playing, come pick her up. So from my understanding, that is not going to fly this time. Before that kid gets out the car good, they're going to have been temperature checked. Oh, don't. You call it what you want to, but I've had to get some work done. I was like, look, Mama just needs you to make it through about the first 2 classes, and then I'll come back and get you.
I'm
but I just
dead.
need you to go for a minute.
I am so dead. She knew that she was going to get the phone call. She said, baby, just make it through second period, okay?
You're listening to the radio show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, so Jamar, so in addition to being an author and philanthropist, you're also an accomplished public speaker. So was there a moment you recall that just reassured you that you were doing what you were called to do? Like maybe somebody walked up to you afterwards and say, hey, you motivated them, like Caral was just saying, you know, you was giving her something back just now, or they just let you know, hey, your words inspired and resonated with me. Can you tell us something, about that?
Absolutely. I often think about a few times, but just going back to my childhood, I'll never forget. And this is a simple example, but it's one that's always stuck with me. But I'll never forget being in high school and one day walking the hallway, just going to my next class, and one of my teachers stopped me. And I don't even think that she taught me directly, but a teacher that was always in the hallway stopped me in my tracks. And she was like, young man, I just want to tell you something. And I'll never forget her. She was the wife of a judge that was in town. She said, every day that I see you walk this hallway, you always have your head high. You're never looking on the ground. You're never, distracted. You're walking, but you have your head up. She said, and it's not in a, negative or a bragging way, but that's just how you carry yourself. She said, that's going to take you far in life. She said, walk with that confidence, walk into your goals, walk into your dreams. And, for me, I probably was 16 years old. I didn't quite know exactly what it meant. I mean, I knew what it meant, but it's really stuck with me in life to where when I'm having a bad day, I continue to keep my head high and walk in that confidence, knowing that everything is going to be okay. But I say that to say, you never know what message you're planting in someone's life or how you're inspiring them to keep going, And again, I didn't quite know exactly what it meant then, but I know what it means today. But several examples like that, keeps me going. So I started receiving messages like that at an early age. And, it just helped inspire me. And of course, I get them today. But my favorite ones today comes from the youth. I speak at different places like, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Upward Bound project that's through several universities across the country, but speaking to those kids and really relating to them, I don't get in front of them and, start talking, above them. I meet them where they are. So we have fun and talk about, the rappers and, of course they talk about NBA Youngboy and folks like that. And then I'll start talking about Lil Wayne and Juvenile and rappers that I resonate with, back in our day. Yeah. But, always after those conversations, they'll come up and say, man, we really enjoyed the talk. It wasn't boring. You had our attention and you talked about things that we wanted to talk about. And you tied that into, encouraging us to go after our passions and not letting anyone stop us. So those are some of the words that I'll get after, speaking and engaging with individuals.
Nice. So just again, we're talking to the multi-talented Jamar Hebert. All right. So he's an author and more. He's the author of The Only Black Man in the Room. Again, available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever you get your books. Follow him on Instagram at Jamar_Hebert. And for all information regarding Jamar, just go to JamarHebert.com. Caral, we pass it back to you.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
All these horrible ass drivers from the following states: Florida, New York, Delaware for some freaking reason, and North Carolina.
I really want to pop your tires.
You're listening to the radio show on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
Awesome. So, Mr. Jamar, I see that you're multifaceted with your businesses. So how do you find time to balance everything? Whether it's working on that one said business, your speaking engagements, to your family life. How does that all work?
I will tell you, it's very challenging. I have 4 teenagers, and I'm huge on family, and I believe that you have to spend time and engage with your family and your children. But I also have these ambitious goals, right? So I just make it work, and I'll accomplish it no matter how long it takes me. I think it's all about planning. I won't sit down here and tell you that I'm the most organized and I have all of these great detailed plans, but at the same time, I do push myself to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. But at the same time, making sure that I spend that time with my teenagers. So if that means inviting them, or not only inviting them, making them come to some of these speaking engagements and sit in that audience and take daddy's selfies and that type of thing.
I gotcha.
They have to do it, or carry a banner or that type of thing. But just trying to make sure that I involve them in every step of the way, because it was that type of thing that really inspired me. My brother took the time out to bring me along to different things and engagements that he had. So I make sure that I do that with my children. But again, it's not, I wouldn't say that I've mastered it. It's something that you have to work on a daily basis, particularly balancing it with family. I think that's the most important thing. And then I have a day job as well, so from 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, don't tell nobody I said that. From 9 to 5, I'm glued to my laptop and working my day job. Then after that, comes the philanthropy stuff through the 100 Black Men, in which I co-founded and serve as the chairman of here in Gainesville. So
wow.
It's a lot of things to, that I do, and I have to set aside time for. But as you stated, you have to find the time to balance it with your family. And I truly feel that if something is important to you, you'll get it done, by whatever means, if it's truly that important to you.
Yes, sir. All right. And I did have one other question.
Sure.
Now, within that, I know that you do have a social life. I know I was being a little nosy. So you are a part of the illustrious Alpha Phi Alpha. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep.
So how do you balance with that? And not just them, but anything else that you do outside of your family and your businesses? How does that all come into one? Because I find it extremely hard. I'm still a little baby entrepreneur, and it's like, okay, I want to give time to my business, my husband, the kids, then my kids and the husband, then my friends. So, and then my work. It's like, it's now starting to go into one big circle, and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do.
Right.
I'm going crazy.
Right.
So how do you separate your social life with that as well?
I would say, it takes sacrificing. Sometimes you may not be able to go. You may not be able to attend some events. It takes prioritization. You have to prioritize what's important. And it takes discipline, making sure that you take the time out to accomplish what needs to be done. But, and if you have really good friends and you have great family, they'll understand when you can't make certain events to get something accomplished, and they'll support you along the way. And, I've been fortunate enough to have that in my life, folks that really encourage and support me and understand when I can't make it. And if it's important enough, they know that I'll be there, and then, sacrifice, sometimes I'm up at 3 a.m, reading or are working on something. But, you know, you can't tire yourself out as well, because you have to show up, and you have to show up and be at 100%. So it just takes balancing. It's a balancing act, I would say.
Yes, sir. And look, I'm a little nerd. I tend to take notes. So
No, you're fine.
I did pick out from that, you know, discipline, sacrifice, and also seeing having a great support team.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Support team is important, I would say, because, you know, everyone doesn't have the same values and they don't want the same out of life that you want. So it'll take them sacrificing as well, and understanding that, you know, by being there for you, they're helping you to accomplish your goals. And at the same time, that may help them to be successful and achieve something as well. So
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
And it plays into who I am as a person. I'm very impulsive. So I did it on an impulse, and I was approved, and it was like, yo, we were approved for like this amount of money. And it's like, yo, what do you do with that? You move the fuck forward is what you do.
You're listening to The Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, so Jamar, got a couple of more here for you, and then we got a question game that we get into to kind of open things up a little bit more, have a little fun with that. So, so writing a book is a big endeavor. So, what advice would you give someone who was maybe considering writing a book, or maybe any endeavor? What would you say to them to give them the push to just go for it?
But you know, I always tell people, do it. Do it. I always tell people to do it. You know, writing a book is very fulfilling. It's an achievement, but you also learn a lot through the process. I won't sit here and say that it's easy, because it's not, but it's not something that's not achievable. You can do it. You know, do your research, you know, find a topic. I like to do things that other folks aren't doing. So find a topic that's unique, but that's needed. You know, I'm thinking now about, okay, what's the next book? You know, what this is my second book actually, but I'm already thinking about what that next book will be about. But I want it, again, to be something that hadn't been done before, kind of thing. So I would say to do it, do your homework, try to find a book that's, you know, maybe similar in style that you want to do. Find a book that you kind of want to emulate the style and the look and feel for, and do it. But, you know, I'm all about excellence, Black excellence. So make sure it's good, you know, read it again, read it 12, 13, 14 times, have other people to read it and critique it, just to make sure that you're putting out a good quality. Do it. And, you know, I always encourage people to do it. You know, I'm that cheerleader for my family and friends. So I'm not going to be the one to tell you don't do it. I'm the one that's going to tell you to do it, get it done, you know, and let me know how I can help.
I like it. So, Caral, I don't know if I did have one more. I didn't know if you had something else before I get into this last one here.
I just want to hit on when he said to write a book, that he doesn't go on what's trending. So that's a factor, because I feel like I miss out when I don't hop on the trend. So I like that you said kind of not, you know, not to go into what's trending. Is that scary to take that leap?
I mean, I think it's all in what you're trying to accomplish. You know, for me, I'm a learner, you know, so I'm always learning, and I'm always that person that wants to take something away from whatever I set out to do. Or if I'm at a table, you know, I like to learn from individuals. So in my books, I like to teach, you know, I like to do research and really provide knowledge to my readers. So that's all of my books will probably be that way. But I think, you know, anything you do is you're taking a leap. But when it comes to titles, personally, I like to go with with things that aren't being discussed and aren't being talked about. And that way, you know, your readers are walking away with something that's new, that hadn't been done before, versus all of these other books that are talking about the same things.
See, okay, you gave me something to think about.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
All right, so Jamar, one last one here. So going back to our past many moons ago, so you were involved in student government back in the day. You were the man, you the student body president back in the day. So you've always had kind of this like voice of command. So are we looking at potential politics in your future at some point?
You know, folks ask me that all the time. And it, you know, here in Gainesville, Florida, I've been fortunate enough to lead the 100 Black Men and meet, you know, and network with several key individuals. You know, I have the mayor's number in my phone. He calls me all the time, texts me, very friendly with a lot of the school board members and the congressman. And, you know, I take a lot of calls from several public figures, but no current plans to, is what I would say. I hadn't ruled it out of the picture, but no current plans to. I find it very rewarding being able to still be influential by leading some of these nonprofit organizations and vouching for the community through that way. But again, you know, won't rule it out. You know, you never know. I do think that we do need good leaders out there. I think we need some good, genuine individuals to do that. You know, I know that I'm getting older, so, you know, a lot of the typical politicians are starting to retire, and they're looking to that next generation, our generation, to step up and to lead. So I'm very conscious of that, but I don't know. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah, that's not a no, but we're gonna never say never on that, because you never know what can happen.
Right. I'm just gonna let God lead me, man, and we'll see what he has in store, you know.
There you go. All right, cool.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to The Radio Show. There is only one radio show, and this is it.
You're listening to The Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
So with this, we've been having a great conversation, you know, getting to know more about your endeavors, how your mind works when it comes to attacking your business endeavors and all that stuff. But now we're about to go into a different part of it, as far as like having a little fun, a little bit of how you deal with decision making and stuff like that. So
all right,
I got this little deal here. It's called Don't At Me. So I'm gonna ask you a few questions, and it's just like on Instagram. A good example that I like to use is like, hey, which do you prefer, Coke or Pepsi? And if it's Coke, you'll say Coke, and then you say "Don't at me," like we on Instagram. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the first one here. All right, so Jamar, you sitting down, you got a box of chicken. I got to use a home reference. You eating the Chicken Shack, all right? You got a box from the Chicken Shack. Dark meat or white meat?
Dark meat, but don't at me.
All right, there you go. He got it. All right. Caral, what about you? You sitting down to that box of chicken? Dark meat, white meat?
Ooh, don't at me, but I'm gonna go with the dark meat.
So y'all prefer legs and thighs, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in the minority on this one. For me, it's the white meat. I gotta have the breast and the wing for sure. You know, don't at me. Me and my brother get along perfectly with that. When we get a box of Popeyes, there's no fighting. He take the dark, I take the white. There's no issue.
That is so dry.
It is not dry. The look on her face, she's like, oh, no, come on. All right, so you know how there's this saying that people will say about a movie that the sequel is never better than the original, but that's not always true. So what's a movie sequel that you like to you that's better than the original?
Ooh, that's a good one. That is a really good one, because I am all about the originals. I'm like, don't mess with the original. You know, I can give you an example. Coming to America, the sequel was horrible in my opinion compared to, you know, the original. Man, I don't know, man. Oh man, what's a really good one?
All these tough questions we asked you, and this one got you? Oh, that's funny, man.
That's because I'm an original, man. I can't think of one that I'm gonna pass to Caral, and I'm gonna keep thinking.
All right, we're gonna come back to Jamar. So, Caral, what's a movie sequel that's better than the original?
Oh my gosh, you're gonna give me so much hate when you post this. Okay. Oh, don't add me. So, Hocus Pocus. It was like a movie way back when, I'm a 90s baby. So Hocus Pocus, the original was amazing, but it was a little too scary for me. I like Hocus Pocus too. Don't at me though.
Oh, no, it's all good. And we can't ask you because that's the name of the game here. All right. So Jamar, before I get mine, we circle back to you. Did you come up with one for yourself now?
How about Top Gun? I thought Top Gun Maverick was pretty good.
Okay. I hadn't seen that one yet.
Yeah.
But I heard it is really good.
Yeah, check it out.
All right, cool. Yeah. I had to watch
Don't
the
add
original
me,
again.
Don't
there
add
you go. I gotta watch the original again to refresh my memory. All right, so for me, what's a movie sequel that's better than the original? For me, okay, so I'm kind of a comic book nerd. So I feel like The Dark Knight was better than Batman Begins. Not saying that Batman Begins was a whack movie by any stretch of the imagination, but The Dark Knight far outweighed Batman Begins. So that's a sequel that's better than the original, The Dark Knight. And don't dare at me, please. I love that movie.
You know what? I'm with you because that's one of my favorite movies. And I agree. Oh,
yeah. But they all great. But that one, yeah, get there. All right. So Jamar,
you're trying to start something on the internet.
Of course. That's what we do. All right. So Jamar, the next one here. All right. This is funny. Do you reuse gift bags? Yes or no?
Absolutely, but don't at me. But yes, I'm all about using gift bags. Look, whether they were mine, my daughters, my sons, I'm always looking for a gift bag to give a gift or to even, gift a book. And I'm always searching through the house looking for one. But yes, I'm all about reusing a gift bag. Don't at me.
Nice. Caral, do you reuse gift bags? Yes or no?
No, don't at me. I used to, but no, I can't do it. I'm gonna buy them again because I accidentally did that. I was going to a baby shower. All we had here at the house was Happy Birthday Jesus. So no, I will buy a whole new bag. That taught me a lesson. So don't at me.
Oh gosh. All right. So do you reuse gift bags? Absolutely, I do. Don't at me. Listen, they could. One that was for Father's Day that might have been just blue. I could just kind of reshuffle that for a kid's birthday. Or maybe my anniversary is coming up and it's like plain white. You got to use them again. You got to get your money if you can get away with it. And the happy birthday ones, I can't say, listen, somebody who, I've been to your kid's birthday party, you probably got one that we used before. I'm sorry, but it's about what's in it, not what it came in. I'm just saying. All right. So Jamar, we got two more here for you. All right. So here's the next one. Do you sleep with socks on? Yes or no?
Yes. I don't see how folks don't sleep with socks. I don't know. I guess for me, it's all about the comfort. And I always sleep in a very cold environment. I like it cold, but I like all of the, the covers on me and all of that stuff. So I like to be, all snuggled up. But yes, socks are important. I find it hard sleeping with no socks on, period. Always been like that. It's just my thing.
Gotcha.
But don't at me.
All right. Wouldn't dare. Miss Caral J, do you sleep with socks on? Yes or no?
Don't at me, but heck no. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Can't do it.
It's not your thing. No, it's like that. It's like that. So do I sleep with socks on? Absolutely not. Jamar's in the minority, at least in this space. I can't do it. I would feel like I'm too, I don't know, like I'm restricted or something. Like I gotta feel free. Like that's my time to feel the most free. So no socks. Now I'll walk around in socks maybe, but I ain't sleeping in them. Don't at me on that. All right. So Jamar, we got the last one here for you. All right. So you hungry. It's time to eat, man. You going out to dinner, sitting down, or would you prefer to have it delivered at home?
So always for me, it's going to be going out. I just like to, go out and do things. I don't like to sit around and that type of thing. And I think it's even worse now that we're working from home. So I have to get out of the house, you know, whether it's taking a ride, going to the store, whatever. So it's definitely going out to get something to eat. But don't at me.
All right. You got it down. Caral J, what's up? You going out to eat, you know, you and the hubby going to kick it, or you rather just have it delivered to the house?
Nah, you know, I'm an extrovert, so I'm gonna have to go out to eat. But don't at me though.
All right. Would dream of it. All right. For me, go out to eat or have it delivered at home. So this is a tough one for me because I go through stages where I want to deal with people, I don't want to deal with people. But this is rough. I'm gonna just go with how I'm feeling today. If it was today, I'd definitely go out. Like, it's something about, you know, being out at the restaurant, you kind of hanging, you know, having that conversation. So for today, as of this recording, we're gonna say go out to eat. Don't at me. But I will say one thing though that he got down was you know, once he got the hang of it, he got in there. But that was Don't At Me with Jamar Hebert on the Aftermath. He did a great job playing around with us and our nonsense, so we definitely appreciate it.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
Why aren't you keeping track of your own score? I'm
It's
just
true.
saying.
You really don't need to know the number. You
really don't. You
need
needed to see. This is the problem with your generation. There's no accountability.
My generation, no accountability.
Boomers typically, that is
right.
a trait
All
that
they
they
do-
you just call me a boomer?
They sit there and complain, and they want somebody else to fix it, which would be us.
If you're not a boomer, you're definitely boomer adjacent.
You're listening to The Radio Show on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, so Jamar, just to kind of I guess recap everything. I just want to say, first off, it's good to connect. You know, you and I go back many years. We hadn't talked in a long time, so it was cool to make this connection. And I'm just glad you were able to, you know, make the time to come on today.
Absolutely. Like I said previously, you know, always have time for friends and family. And, you know, this was a blessing when you first reached out. I was absolutely, you know, I'd love to connect with you guys and get the word out, not only about the book, but, you know, just in any way that I can help to motivate or inspire others. So I appreciate you guys. It was great to meet Caral J. You know, don't at me, but, you know, it was great to connect with her as well and really just have this conversation this morning. So thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
No, absolutely. And if you take a look at the screen here, we got Jamar's information. So he's the author, The Only Black Man in the Room. Please go pick that up. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Apple Books, or wherever you purchase the books. Please follow him on Instagram at Jamar_Hebert and check out more information from him. Go to jamarhebert.com. So like I said, again, Jamar, you're just excellent at what you do, and wish you nothing but the best in the future.
Appreciate it, my brother. Appreciate it.
But no, I really appreciate it. You had me on my P's and Q's today, and I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching. I'm gonna what did I say? Do my research and stalk. But you were very informative, and it just feels good to have a Black man representing all of us. It's hard. We don't have that protection that we need, and like you just. I don't know, you emulate all of that. And I just want to say thank you.
I appreciate it.
Got to give you your flowers when we can. So
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you. And please keep in touch. Please keep in touch in any way that I can help you, you know, on your journey, whether that be writing a book, speaking engagements, anything, you know, feel free to reach out.
Will do. I'm glad you said that. Now I'm going to keep you to your word.
Nice.
Definitely keep Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, appreciate it very much.
You are now listening to The Radio Show.
I'm going to go on a limb here and say I don't hate the remake of Karate Kid. It's not that bad.
It's not that good either.
You're listening to The Radio Show ATL on YouTube and all other podcast providers.
All right, we are back here on the Aftermath. We just got done talking to Jamar Hebert. He is a wealth of knowledge. Caral, what'd you pick up from talking to Jamar just now?
Man, everything. So, you know, I had to take some notes. Basically, he told us to walk into our own goals, be your authentic self, and man, the fact his book is just a vibe within itself. The only black man in the room, like, come on, man. It gave me, I'm not a man, but it just gave me that, But basically, I'm going to walk into corporate America on Monday, man. And I mean, they can't tell me nothing. I have to, the thing is, he taught us, we are the minority. But I'm not going to act that way. I'm not going to act that way. I'm about to walk, and y'all heard it, walk with my head held high. So shoot, I'm ready, man.
That's right. Own the moment and, own what you want to do for yourself. He said just go for it, and he's a living proof of just going for it. So if you want more information on Jamar, we got the information right there on the screen, all right? The Only Black Man in the Room, that's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple Books, or wherever you purchase books. On Instagram, follow him at Jamar_Hebert, and go to his website for more information, JamarHebert.com. Now, as far as our lovely guest host that we cannot get enough of around here, here's her information on the screen. Please make sure to follow her on social media and listen to the Caral J Podcast, because she's dropping knowledge as well. All right, please do that. All right,
Thank you.
Then and then as far as the radio show goes, if you want to be a guest on the radio show, just send us an email, the radio show inbox at gmail.com, or you can send us a text 678-800-1677. We look forward to hearing from you. So Caral, I tell you this off air all the time, but you can't be on enough. Cannot have you enough. Thank you so much for doing this with me again.
So welcome, man.
Yes.
So welcome.
Yes.
It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. So we're just going to be out here. We're going to keep dropping heat all the time, keep dropping content. We appreciate everybody who watches, listens, tells a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend. We appreciate you. So thanks again, and we're going to catch you next time.